for the medicine class of 2023. The white coat ceremony has become a yearly tradition at AUB Faculty of Medicine. It is the time when students who are about to begin the third year of medical training and the first of 2 years of clinical training gather to celebrate with their families and their teachers this important transition that they are making. And indeed, a transition it will be. To care for another, to put someone else's interest before one's own, there is no greater honor. Maybe because it conflicts with the most basic and primordial instinct of a human being, self-preservation. Life abounds with people who forfeit other people's lives for the comfort of their own lives. Warlords do it all the time. Fortunately, life also abounds with people who are willing to forfeit their own lives for the comfort of others. Mothers and fathers do it all the time. Everyone else is somewhere in between. So where does a physician lie on this continuum of utmost self-interest to utmost selflessness? What sacrifice is expected of you as you take on a lifetime of service to others? What will you give or give up? Time? Lots of time, lots of it. Time away from your family and friends. Time away from the beach, from your favorite book. Even time away from yourself. Hours of sleep? Most definitely. For that insomniac patient or the one whose headache seems to always worsen at night. Patience? Tons of patience. For that diabetic patient who refuses to understand that bread is essentially equivalent to sugar, even if it does not taste sweet. Self-restraint, a great deal. For that son who seems to blame you for everything wrong that is happening to his mother, although you are certain you have done all the right things. Understanding, immeasurably. For that grumpy patient who takes his anger about his disease out on you and who never says thank you, and you say, it's okay. ليس على المريض حرج. Comfort? Absolutely. For that patient whose leg you are trying to save, and you stand in the operating room for 7 whole hours, feeling grateful you have your own 2 legs to stand on. Food? All the time. Last year, students asked our our Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Zeina Kanafani, they asked her whether there is a lunch break in the clinical years. And she answered, most of the time you will have time to eat. But that is a privilege rather than a right. When patients' care is at stake, lunch will have to wait. You will give all of that and more, not only as students, but throughout your long march down the path of this noble profession. And this profession, noble as it is, will give back to you, not in wealth or social standing or professional rank or prizes or fame, but in the most complete sense of fulfillment and self-realization that anyone could ever feel or experience. So my dear students, look ahead and you will see that path materializing before your eyes, beckoning you and leading you to your destiny. Look back and you will see and cherish all the past experiences that have molded you into the individuals you are today. Look at your left and at your right, to your right, and you will see the people who will share their future with you, comrades who will support you and will lean on you and who will change you in 1,000 imperceptible ways. Look up and you will see the sky, which will be the limit to your potential and your ambitions. And never forget to look down, to see and contemplate with humility the ground where your feet should always be planted, the ground that will root you to your community, your alma mater, and your country. Today, you will take the Hippocratic Oath, a symbolic oath that represents the responsibilities that you are about to be handed and for which I am sure you are ready. Today, you enter this hall as students, and you will emerge as young physicians in training and young colleagues of ours. Welcome to life in medicine, and congratulations. I would like now to please ask President Fadl Khouri to give his address.
Greetings and salutations, class of 2023. You are about to enter a phase of substantially increased responsibility. Physicians are a special breed, and AUB medical students are among the best and brightest, and they strive to join the honorable profession. I want to address myself specifically to you, our students, and to the trainees in the audience and to your attendings. You're filled with hope and conviction among the best and brightest members of our community, a community that prides itself on your intellect and application, but our medical students, residents, and fellows enter our now 153-year-old medical school convinced that you can change the world for the better. And generation after generation, our graduates have done just that. The past year has shown us just how daunting and demanding the world can be for people in the healing professions. The COVID-19 pandemic has pressured the global health system in ways no one was prepared for. Doctors and nurses have been literally exhausted and infected, hospitals overwhelmed, and patients deprived of access to medical services the world over. AUB physicians have risen to an additional challenge, which is the collapse of the country's social, economic, and yes, the near collapse of the health systems. Think of your teachers and also of the outstanding graduates of the Faculty of Medicine at AUB, including, to name a few among many, recently Drs. Huda Zughbi, Bishara Shqair, and Firas Abyad, all heroes in very different ways. You will join their ranks soon enough, in 2 years. In Lebanon, things have been particularly tough between the pandemic, the August 4th explosion, the economic collapse, the political turmoil, and multiple other overlapping emergencies. The medical sector is facing a daily strain from a growing shortage of medical supplies and essential medicines, as well as the departure of many physicians from across the sector. This has left the most vulnerable people at risk and added pressure on medical care providers. Today, I want you to think not of yourselves, but of those that you serve. The residents of Lebanon, between the Lebanese population and the refugee population, have already endured traumatic experiences and extreme stress. Now, with everything else going on, mental health is increasingly at risk, and the weight of the situation just keeps getting heavier over the shoulders of doctors, nurses, and caretakers. Many years ago, a great physician, Dr. Lerb of Columbia, every year sought out which physicians, first, second, third, and fourth, were not worthy of the profession. He made it his task to drive them out of the profession. We no longer do this. The profession exacts enough of a toll on our daily lives, but you, our wonderful students, understand that today you are marking the journey in a different way. You're coming into a world that is in desperate need of your hope, bravery, enthusiasm, strengths, dreams, ideas, intelligence, and most importantly, your humanity. The world will exact enough of a toll. Whether you are worthy is beyond our ability to say today, but will be proven in fire in the years to come. But as you move forward, I urge you to remember a few very important pieces of advice I'd like to share with you that are based on my 32 years in this most noble of professions. First of all, the pressure to perform affects all of you and all of us. Fueled by our competitive juices and dragged down by fatigue, cutting corners to get ahead can become a natural human instinct. When this temptation or other difficult choices present themselves to you, Think twice and weigh your options, and most of all, check your moral fiber. Those choices don't come at your expense, but at the patient's. Your conscience and your desire to first do no harm, and second, to help the patient most of all, must always govern your decisions in these challenging times. Slow things down and break down the components and the consequences of your decisions rather than speeding them up. Wise decisions most often emerge when one deliberates carefully, deliberately, and then decides according to their moral compass. Second, always try to remember that the physician-patient bond represents a river that flows both ways. Empathy and sagacity from the physician, and gratitude and humanity from the patient. Both sides derive enormous reward and satisfaction from this vital bond. It is not a one-way street, and you are serving your patients because you have the training, the skill, the determination, and the privilege to do so. Do not forget that this is a privilege to serve. It is an honor and not a favor to be a true physician, a gifted healer. Enjoy these gifts and deploy them wisely. Third, remember that medicine and in fact life is a marathon. I skipped ahead. It is a marathon. Don't burden yourself with the thoughts that your career or your life are on the line with every decision. That's generally not true. We learn from our mistakes and we become wiser by doing so. I gave you the example of Dr. Lerb to tell you this has become a much more forgiving society. Medicine is more forgiving and less judgmental. So you yourself should become more forgiving and understanding with your peers, colleagues, patients, and mentors. And this will help you accept your own stumbles and your own shortcomings more readily. Judge not, lest ye yourself be judged, as the biblical phrase goes. Mercy is an essential quality in physicians, nurses, and caregivers. Let mercy be your guide. And the times will pass more peacefully, and the results will flow more readily. Fourth, perhaps one of the more underrated aspects of a physician. Read, and read some more. Being a perpetual student of life, medicine and science is not only a wonderful privilege, but a great fulfilling opportunity. And the opposite, failing to keep up with the medical and scientific literature, often has dire consequences for you and your patients. But most of all, enjoy the journey. Medicine is empowering, it's engaging, and genuinely enthralling. You're on the cusp of joining a matchless sisterhood brotherhood. Savor every moment of it. We at AD have no doubt that you will make us very proud, and we look forward to welcoming you into the profession as our future colleagues in 2 short years. Never forget that your worst day is considerably better than your patient's best days. And some of these patients are capable of great things, lest you feel pity for them, rather than genuine empathy. I'm going to read you a quote from one individual who was plagued with low self-esteem and serious depression. He was hospitalized many times, but with the help of his physician, he strove to make something of his life. He said, "What am I recognized in most people? A non-entity, an eccentric or an unpleasant person, somebody who has no position in society, and who will never have, in short, the lowest of the low." All right, then, even if that were absolutely true, then I should one day like to show by my work what such an eccentric, such a nobody has in his heart. That is my mission, based less on resentment and on love in spite of everything, based more on feeling serenity than on passion. Though I'm often in the depths of misery, there's a calmness, pure harmony, and music inside. I see paintings or drawings in the poorest cottages, in the dirtiest quarters, and my mind is driven towards these things with an irresistible momentum. I want to touch people with my heart. I want them to say, he feels deep, he feels tender. This man failed during his life as an artist and only sold one painting while alive. But in the last 8 years of his life, he produced hundreds of modern masterpieces, and he bequeathed the lion's share of them to his doctor, who had helped to care for him along with his brother. And this doctor bequeathed this collection to the French Academy rather than keep it. This was a priceless gift of the greatest modern artist of all. That patient, that artist, that failed human being was, as some of you may have recognized, Vincent van Gogh. So you have the power to make people's lives better. You have the power to alleviate their pain. You will not always cure them, and they will not always keep their limb, but you can help them. That is a power beyond your current imagination, but you will come to realize it day by day, week by week, year by year. Protect that power, keep it holy, and keep it good. Go in peace, my younger brothers and sisters, and never forget that power, that responsibility to help the next great artist, great genius, or just the next great sufferer. Just help them to find a little more peace in their own lives. Thank you and congratulations to you.
Thank you, President Khoury. I would like now to ask Dr. Ghazi Zaatari, Interim Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, to introduce our keynote speaker, please.
Thank you, Muna. And I would like also add my voice of congratulations to our students. This is definitely a key point in your journey in medical education. And as Dr. Khoury stated, we're looking forward to welcoming you as future partners in medicine and healthcare. Also, I would like just to add one note that the white coat now is not only something we wear on our clothes, but it's also a symbol of our profession. So that's why we need to keep it clean, and also it represents our mission in trying to save humanity to the extent we can do. And recent events have proved the importance of what we call the White Army in trying to defend our fellow men during the epidemic of COVID. So without spending more time, I don't want to just make my speech long. All what I would like now is to turn into introducing our keynote speaker for today, and it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce the keynote speaker for today's special ceremony. Dr. Huda Zughbi is an AUB trustee, alumna, and a dear colleague and friend. After graduating with her MD degree from AUB in 1976, Dr. Zughbi completed her graduate medical education at Baylor College of Medicine, where she's now a distinguished professor in the departments of pediatrics, molecular and human genetics, neurology, and neuroscience. Dr. Zughbi is also a renowned investigator at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and the director of the Jan and Dan Duncan Neurological Research Institute at Texas Children's Hospital. Her laboratory uses genetic, biochemical, and cell biological approaches to explore the pathogenesis of polyglutamine neurodegenerative brain disease and also Rett syndrome, and to study genes essential for normal neurodevelopment. For her illustrious work and career, Huda has received numerous international awards and recognitions and was nominated in 2020 to the Nobel Prize in Medicine for her groundbreaking work on discovering the cause of Rett syndrome and identifying genes responsible for the spinocerebellar ataxia type 1, a rare neurological disease. With that, Dr. Zughbi, our pride of the Faculty of Medicine, the screen is yours, and looking forward to listen to her address to you.
I was in those shoes, I was in your shoes, starting my medical school at the American University of Beirut. And I feel so fortunate that I got to attend AUB for college and start my medical training there, because to this date, I feel the best way to learn, to think critically, and to do the best you can do came from the habits I acquired while at AUB. Today is even more exciting. You're starting medical school at an era where science and medicine has advanced so much. So you have now the benefit of an amazing AUB education together with the benefit of so much science where you can do so much more for your patients to help them. What I'd like to do in this few minutes is share with you the qualities and the few things that I feel have helped me the most, first as a physician, and then as a scientist, and even as a mentor. As you know, I started my career as a physician. I had no intention to do research. My plan was to actually take care of patients with neurological problems, but it became very clear early on that that was a devastating specialty. And back in the 80s, there was really nothing you can do for the patients. And I felt that in order for me to perhaps help my patients and make a difference was to go into research. I continued to see patients for about 20 years in my career. And the few things I'm going to share with you, I learned that they served me well, whether I was in the clinic or in the lab. So what are these three things that I'd like you to think about and carry with you as you go through medical school? They're very simple. They're only three things. And if you follow them, you will realize how integrated they are and how helpful they are to you. And I'll put them in the order you're going to first need them and practice them. Scholarship is first. Caring is second. And curiosity is third. So let's break those down and think, why do I say that? Scholarship really is at the root of everything. The more you know, the more you're going to be able to solve problems. The more you learn, the more you're prepared to help your patients. This is the time where you can be the best at learning how to be scholarly. You're going to take classes, study them well, learn everything well. Don't be superficial. Don't be satisfied by just a quick Wikipedia search or a quick Google search. Learn how to do things better. That's for the layperson. That's not for you. You have material, you have books that you're going to learn, and the stronger the foundation you have in the first years of medical school, the better of a physician you will be. And I'll come back to this again. Caring. As you begin to see patients, the greatest gift you can give to your patients is caring. First way you show you care is by listening to them. Listen carefully to your patients. I learned to listen so much, and I cannot tell you how many times I learned from my patients. In fact, all my discoveries were rooted, all my basic research discoveries were rooted in things I learned from the patients that inspired me to do particular experiments that led to a discovery. And this continues to this day. So please listen carefully, care, show that you care. Many patients complain that physicians today come into the room, turn their back, and look at the computer. I realize you have to fill the EPIC forms or whatever electronic forms you have to fill, but give the patient the attention they need. Look them in the eye. Let them speak comfortably and show them that you care. By showing that you care, you're halfway treating them. Because with your kind words, with the empathy you show, with the attention you give, they will be able to handle any disease so much better. Whereas the lack of care or the lack of attention will cause stress, and even a disease that may be very mild will become amplified. So I cannot tell you how important it is to care and show that care. And the third one is curiosity. You're going to read textbooks, you're going to learn things as being established in the dogma, but I can assure you, you're going to encounter so many things you've never seen before. There is going to be always that unusual patient that comes with unusual features. Don't let that go without you following up on it. Be curious. Follow up on it. And this is where care and scholarship are also connected, because if you see a patient that's different, if you encounter symptoms that are different, a blood test that's unusual, by being curious and willing to follow on it, that's a sign that you care. And to really follow up on it, you need your scholarship. You need to pull on all the knowledge you have, but you need to look for new knowledge. So scholarship will always be there in your life, and you will continue to rely on it and need it every day of your life. So to me, by being curious about certain patients is what also led me to follow certain research path. And so I learned from the patients, and by following unusual things, this is really how discoveries happen and how you can help your patients the best. So I hope you would agree that these three very simple things, scholarship, learn, be a sponge, keep learning, always be ready to learn from anyone around you, professors, mentors, colleagues, and patients, of course. Care about them, show them empathy. That's really the way to healing. That's the start of the way to healing. And always be curious and follow that sixth sense that you'll feel this is atypical, I'm going to follow it. I have all the hopes that starting medical school today, with your brilliance, I know how great AUB students are, with the fantastic teachers that you have and the great environment of AUB, and all the technology and advances we have at us, that you're really gonna do transformational things that will help medicine and patients for decades to come. I wish you success, I wish you joy through your medical training, and I hope I will be here to watch you shine and be proud of my fellow AUB graduates. All the best.
We will proceed now with the administration of the medical oath. Will the students please rise? In our profession, it is a custom established more than 2,000 years ago that all those admitted to the honors of the profession must first expressly take upon themselves its obligations. Now, therefore, in behalf of your elders, I call upon you to take, as we have taken before you, the oath which bears the name of Hippocrates. I shall read to you the pledge, after which you will be asked to signify your acceptance of it. Will my colleagues of the faculty please rise? I do solemnly pledge before my teachers and all those present to be true to this oath. I will be loyal to the ideals of the profession of medicine and its tradition of service to all human beings. I will care for my fellow human beings with compassion, empathy, and kindness. I will follow that treatment which, according to my ability and judgment, I consider for the benefit of patients while respecting their choices and beliefs. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not perform any medical procedure for criminal purposes. Whatever I see or hear in the lives of people which ought not to be spoken abroad, I will keep secret. All my professional acts shall be for the benefit of the sick to the utmost of my power, holding myself aloof from any act of corruption or discrimination. In purity and uprightness, I will pass my life and practice my art. While I continue to keep this oath inviolate, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the art respected by people in all times. Do you so promise? In keeping with this pledge, may each one of you be granted a long life of service and the privilege of honoring the profession which today honors you. Will my colleagues of the faculty please be seated? Congratulations to all students. We will now begin the distribution of the white coats. This year, the students will be sharing this event with their learning communities mentors who will accompany them on stage. Will each mentor and student please come forward when their name is called? And congratulations to all again. Dr. Jumana Antoun. Students, Mr. Karim Al-Hassaniye. Dr. Zater. Mr. Tariq Bandali. Ms. Kelly Faris. Mr. Salami Haddad. Mr. Ali Hijazi. Mr. Ahmad Ismail. Ms. Dayan Rizallah. Mr. Christian Sadar. Mr. Hassan Slia. Ms. Raya Cheroyan. Ms. Maria Wahidi. Mr. Peter Abu Fadil. Mr. Ahmad Al-Halabi. Ms. Maya Nicole Ataya. Mr. Wissam Kari. Ms. Dina Al-Ashi. Mr. Muhyiddin Al-Sayyid. Ms. Aya Ghusn. Mr. Salim Halablab. Mr. Ryan Osgarichian. Mr. Rami Saade. Mr. Hassan Sinan. Thank you, Dr. Antoon. كريم، أوكي، تفضل. واسطة. May I ask Dr. Beatrice Khater to come forward, please? Dr. Muhannad Abu Al-Azz. Ms. Razan Al-Tartir. مهند صار دكتور عبكير. مس فريدة عطلة. مستر أيمن بحسون. مستر موسى برو. مس زينة بورسلان. مستر أكرم الرملاوي. مس جنى حيدر أحمد. مستر بيتر كفوري. مس نادين عمران. مستر علي الهادي زريق. Thank you, Dr. Khater. May I call now Dr. Sahar Qubar? Miss Tatiana Abu Murad. Mr. Wissam Al-Ahmadiye. Mr. Kamil Awar. Mr. Bashir Bashir. Miss Maha Shakur. Miss Tasneem Al-Halabi. Mr. Gandhi Hassan. Miss Riwa Kanj. Mr. Hadi Mansour. Miss Elisa Naame. Mr. Vahe Panosian. Mr. Adib Tashman. Thank you, Dr. Cooper. May I call upon Dr. Diana Rahmi, please? Mr. Majd Al-Jurdi. Ms. Noor Assaf. Mr. Charles Bardawi. Mr. Fuad Bitar. Mr. Matthew Shufani. Ms. Sophie Dagher Hayek. Ms. Aya Al-Haraki. Ms. Tamara Qadi. Mr. Nicola Najm. Mr. Carl Smeha. Mr. Teddy Sauma. Mr. Ryan Yamin. Thank you, Dr. Rahme. May I call upon Dr. Maya Romani, please? Mr. Ahmed Al-Attar. Ms. Sara Badin. Mr. Hassan Shamsuddin. Mr. Muhammad Fakhruddin. Ms. Elsa Habbo. Ms. Dima Mashtub. Mr. Muhammad Ali Mazloom. Ms. Reem Naame. Ms. Rawan Rahme. Ms. Alice Rishu. Ms. Samira Taqoush. Mr. Yusuf Tarazi. Thank you, Dr. Romani. May I call upon Dr. Umayya Msharrafiyya, please? Ms. Lina Radi. Mr. Khalil Bassam. Ms. Lama Da'i. Mr. Bahjat Ghazal. Ms. Zahra Min'am. Ms. Pamela Mkerzel. Mr. Jean-Paul Rizq. Mr. Karim Saab. Ms. Sarah Saad. Mr. Ralph Tanios. Mr. Rami Tfaili. Mr. Jawad Turfa. Thank you, Dr. Msharrafieh. May I call upon Dr. Nina Salem Shab, please? Mr. Jad Allam. Ms. Reem Bahsoon. Mr. Adnan Baydoun. Mr. Richard Dagher. Mr. Hussein Al-Burji. Mr. Milham Al-Harati. Ms. Angie Faris. Ms. Rasha Ghussaini. Ms. Malak Hubballah. Ms. Chelsea Missy. Ms. Kim Naja. Ms. Sarah Wahbi. Ms. Noor Adra. Ms. Jana Bajur. Mr. Ahmad Shaheen. Ms. Joelle Shami. Mr. Yasser Fadlallah. Ms. Gracia Fahad. Ms. Samar Hassani. Mr. Kiram Hawatian. Mr. Ronnie Jokhdar. Ms. Najwa Radwan. Ms. Nadine Sonji. Thank you, Dr. Salim. May I call now upon Dr. Iman Sbaiti, please. Mr. Jad Farid Assaf. Ms. Batul Asi. Ms. Naida Bidikian. Mr. Abdul Hamid Burghul. Ms. Noor Al Ghawi. Mr. Aziz Farhat. Mr. Nabih Habib. Mr. Ahmad Hijazi. Ms. Noor Sabiha Naji. Mr. Abdul Hadi Shmouri. And Mr. Serge Yaoub. Please stay, don't leave. Please stay. Congratulations to all, and please rise for the AUB Alma Mater.
Blue sea lies the campus of the college where we love to be.
Thank you. I would like to ask the faculty members, please, then the students, to follow me to start the recessional. Will the assembly please remain seated until the faculty and students have exited the hall? And please join us for a group picture outside on the stairs of the main gate. Thank you.